The real question, all things work together for good. There are no exceptions except in the ego's judgment. The ego resents everything it does not control.
It resents everything it does not control. Isn't that interesting? It doesn't just, it resents. It resents not having the ability to control. Oh, that's the white male rage right there. And then that's what they're just saying. It resents. So that's why they're so pissed.
Yes. Control is a central factor in what the ego permits into consciousness, and one to which it devotes its maximum vigilance. This is not the way a balanced mind holds together. Its control is unconscious. The ego stays further off balance by keeping its primary motivation unconscious and raising control rather than sensible judgment to predominance. It has every reason to do this according to the thought system which both gave rise to it and which it serves. Sane judgment would inevitably judge against it and must be obliterated by the ego in the interest of its self-preservation.
See, so he's saying sane judgment, meaning letting the spirit influence your perceptions and your decisions. The ego, it's trying to obliterate it. Not only do we not have to not listen to the ego is fighting against us. That's what it's saying right there. Right. Read that again.
Sane judgment would inevitably judge against it and must be obliterated by the ego in the interest of self-preservation.
So you understand, not only we have our ego is against us, we have to understand this kind of vigilance we need. This is not just neutral thoughts sitting there. You can decide which one you want to think. No, one side is fighting for you to only hear that it. And the spirit is waiting for you to ask. I mean, there's a difference, right?
Yeah, the emphasis is a little different.
Yeah.
The body is the ego's home by its own election. It is the only identification with which it feels safe because the body's vulnerability is its own best argument that you cannot be of God. What?
That makes sense.
Yes.
How could you be of God when you're in one of these feeble, sick,
bodies,
dying bodies? Yeah. How could that, if that's who you think you are, how can you ever be a, it makes sense.
It does.
It's the best evidence.
How can you feel safe? Right.
And then the way you behave, that's even more evidence that the ego makes you behave in a way that makes you know you're not of God because it tells you to do things that are not cool.
Yet the ego hates the body because it does not accept the idea that the body is good enough as its home. Here is where the mind becomes actually dazed. Being told by the ego that it is literally part of the body and that the body is its protector. It is also constantly informed that the body cannot protect it. This, of course, is not only true, but perfectly obvious. Therefore, the mind asks, where can I go for protection? To which the ego replies, turn to me. The mind, and not without cause, reminds the ego that it has itself insisted that it is identified with the body, so there is no point in turning to it for protection. The ego has no real answer to this, because there isn't any. But it does have a typical solution. It obliterates the question from the mind's awareness.
And the question is, where can I find protection?
Once unconscious, it can and does produce uneasiness, but it cannot be answered because it cannot be asked. This is the real question, which must be asked. Where can I go for protection? Only an insane mind fails to ask it. Even the insane ask it unconsciously, but it requires real sanity to ask it consciously. The real problem is correctly stated as, what is the question? Because the answer can be found if the question is recognized. If it is not, you will attempt a number of solutions, all ego-based, not because you think they will really work, but because the question itself is obscure.
Yeah, okay, so we don't understand our uneasiness comes from our realization that we don't know where we can find protection.
Yeah, that's really what he's saying.
So we don't know that's what we need to ask. Where can I find protection? We think we need, I'm uneasy, well, maybe I need a new car. Maybe I need a new dress. Maybe I need a new relationship.
Right.
Because I need protection. I need something. I know I need something. I feel I'm unprotected. I need something to fill me up, to feel safe, right?
Yeah.
But I don't even know that's my problem. I'm defining it based on the ego that says, oh, what you really need is a new car. That will make you feel better.
Yeah. Right.
Or a new relationship.
The ego compromises with the issue of the eternal, just as it does with all issues that touch on the real question in any way. By compromising in connection with all tangible questions, it hopes to hide the real question and keep it out of mind.
Meaning, it keeps you busy thinking you are safe when you know down deep you're not feeling safe, and so it's keeping you unaware of the fact you're looking for safety, you're looking for some protection. Meaning it's keeping you distracted with the idea, well, you're going to find it there. It's going to be there.
So if you keep moving,
and so you're not really realizing you haven't even asked the question. You're just assuming that you're going in a direction that will lead there.
Right.
Real protection.
Oh, like I said, yeah, it says its characteristic busyness with non-essentials is precisely for that purpose.